Good morning. We are here again with my friend the skeleton so that we can talk about how to properly work your abdominals. Because I've been told there are people out there who spend the day doing hundreds and hundreds of sit-ups, and there are some who say they even do 3,000 a day. The first thing we have to know is that the rectus abdominis is a muscle that goes from the pubic symphysis to the xiphoid appendix and the costal cartilages. Something kind of like this, okay? And when it contracts, what it does is it allows for the flexion of the spine, pulling either the ribs or the pelvis upwards. And then at no time does it have anything to do with what we do with our legs. Agreed? There is no muscle in the abdomen that activates the femur. What this means is that when we start working the abs using our legs in all its variants, as we've seen many times in the gym, because if you look here, we're using the abdomen as a stabilizer of the pelvis, but the muscles that are doing the work are the flexors of the hip. So we're not actually working the abdomen as completely and as intensely. That's why it's fundamental that when we go to use our legs as a counterweight, we maintain perpendicularity with the ground so that you don't have to think about contracting your abdomen, but instead about using your knees to push upwards as if you were pushing some object. Let me use this weight as an example. Okay, my image, let's say what I have to be mentally focused on is on pushing upwards. The movement is short because the path of the abdomen is short. All of the movements of the leg, both from one side to the other, are movements that take away work from the abdomen and intend to change the focus of the movement, which is this: upwards. Another fundamental point is how we use our breathing, because most of the time when we work our abs, we hold our breath, creating an intra-abdominal pressure that, in addition to being underproductive at the pelvic floor level, does not allow us to work that muscle in its entirety. The abdominals are also expiratory muscles. Therefore, when I exhale, ribs go down and it enhances the contraction as if generating a peak contraction. Once we have the ability to do 20 repetitions well executed, there's some ways to intensify the exercise. One way is to shift downward more and more on the bench with your butt until you get to the point to where you're practically suspended in the air. And do the exercise without anything under your butt, which is normally resting on the bench. And another method, which is one of my favorites, is doing a pyramid set, which means putting a dumbbell between our feet and do as many reps as we can until failure. When we get to failure, we'll change to a smaller dumbbell, 6 or 8 repetitions, heavy. When we can't do that anymore, switch to no weight. And when you can't take it anymore, we can finish up with some crunches. I know I'm done if I'm unable to get up facing forward and I have to get out on my side. Agreed? And when you're done working your abs, you get up like, oopa, there, I did it. I did 20. It's because you haven't done them right. And when we've completely become super master cracks of the reverse crunch, we can start playing around with the dragon flag. And here we'll do the same thing we did to intensify the reverse crunch. We can shift down more and more on the bench to increase the level of difficulty until we get to what I'm about to show you now, with your butt totally off the bench and doing the flag well. Cool beans. This is how it will look. The abdomen, when you work it the right way, of course, so that the fat goes down and the abdomen is visible, has nothing to do with the exercises, but with what you're eating. But this will be the subject of another video. Until next time.